Welcome to watercolor pencils. Watercolor pencils are a fantastic art medium for beginners. They combine drawing and painting, offering versatility and creativity. This guide will equip you with the basics, step by step. You'll learn to choose materials, master techniques, and unleash your artistic potential. Watercolor pencils are like magic pencils. They look and feel like colored pencils but transform with water. This dual nature makes them exciting and forgiving. You can sketch, layer colors, and blend them seamlessly. Experiment with different effects, from soft washes to vibrant details. Whether you're drawn to landscapes, portraits, or still life, watercolor pencils offer endless possibilities. Embrace the journey, not just the destination. Allow yourself to explore, make mistakes, and learn along the way. The most important thing is to have fun and let your creativity flourish. So gather your materials, find a comfortable spot, and let's embark on this exciting adventure together. Get ready to unlock the captivating world of watercolor pencils. Now let's talk about choosing your tools. Selecting the right tools is crucial for a successful watercolor pencil experience. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Let's start with the basics: watercolor pencils, paper, and brushes. Watercolor pencils come in various qualities and price ranges. For beginners, student-grade pencils are a great starting point. They offer good quality without breaking the bank. Look for sets with a variety of colors to experiment with. Watercolor paper is specially designed to handle water and prevent buckling. Choose a pad or block with at least 140 pounds weight for optimal results. Opt for either cold-pressed or hot-pressed paper. Cold-pressed has a slightly textured surface, while hot-pressed is smoother. Finally, you'll need brushes for blending and applying water. Round brushes are versatile, suitable for both washes and details. A size 6 or 8 round brush is a good starting point. Additionally, a flat brush can be handy for larger areas. Moving on to watercolor paper, your artistic canvas. Watercolor paper is not like regular drawing paper. It's thicker and more resilient, designed to withstand the magic of water without buckling or warping. Choosing the right paper is crucial for achieving beautiful watercolor pencil effects. Watercolor paper comes in various weights measured in pounds, lb. The higher the weight, the thicker and more durable the paper. For beginners, I recommend using paper that's at least 140 lb. This weight can handle multiple layers of color and water without falling apart. You'll also encounter different surface textures: cold-pressed, hot-pressed, and rough. Cold-pressed paper has a slightly textured surface, which is great for beginners, as it adds a bit of grip for the pencils. Hot-pressed paper has a smoother surface, ideal for detailed work. Rough paper has the most texture, creating interesting effects. Experiment with different brands and textures to find what you enjoy working with the most. Each paper interacts uniquely with watercolor pencils, leading to exciting discoveries and artistic expressions. Remember, the paper is your canvas, so choose wisely. Next, let's dive into, let's get started, basic strokes. Now that you have your materials ready, let's dive into some basic watercolor pencil strokes. These strokes form the foundation of your artistic creations. Don't be afraid to experiment and find what feels comfortable for you. Start with light pressure, gradually increasing it to create darker values. Hold the pencil further down the shaft for lighter strokes, and closer to the tip for bolder lines. Practice making long, continuous strokes as well as short, dashed lines. Experiment with different pencil angles to vary the width of your strokes. A steep angle creates thin, delicate lines, while a flatter angle produces wider, bolder marks. You can also use the side of the pencil lead to cover larger areas quickly. Practice these basic strokes on a scrap piece of watercolor paper to get a feel for the pencils. As you become more comfortable, you can incorporate these strokes into your drawings, adding depth, texture, and dimension to your artwork. Here comes the magical part: blending. Watch your pencil strokes transform into beautiful washes of color with a touch of water. This is where watercolor pencils truly come alive. Dip your brush in clean water, ensuring it's not overly saturated. Gently glide the wet brush over your pencil strokes, and observe as the colors dissolve and blend seamlessly. Experiment with different brush strokes, circular motions, straight lines, or even dabbing, to achieve various effects. You can control the intensity of the colors by adjusting the amount of water you use. Less water creates more concentrated colors, while more water produces lighter, more translucent washes. Practice blending small areas of color, and then move on to larger sections. Remember to rinse your brush frequently to prevent muddying your colors. With practice, you'll develop a feel for how much water to use and how to blend colors smoothly and effectively. Embrace the fluidity and unpredictability of water. It's part of the magic. Layering colors is key to creating depth and dimension in your watercolor pencil art. By applying multiple layers of color, you can achieve rich, complex hues and add a sense of volume to your subjects. Start with a light base color, applying it evenly to the desired area. Allow it to dry completely before adding the next layer. This prevents colors from becoming muddy and ensures a clean, vibrant result. Gradually build up layers using progressively darker shades or complementary colors to create shadows and highlights. Remember to work from light to dark, as it's easier to darken a color than to lighten it. Experiment with different color combinations and layering techniques. You can overlap colors, blend them completely, or leave some areas unblended for a more textured look. Don't be afraid to experiment and discover what works best for you. Lifting color is a technique that allows you to create highlights and add a touch of brilliance to your watercolor pencil art. It involves removing some of the applied color to reveal the white or lighter tones underneath. To lift color, dampen a clean brush or cotton swab and gently dab or rub the area where you want to create a highlight. The water will lift some of the pigment, revealing the lighter tones beneath. You can control the intensity of the highlight by adjusting the wetness of your brush. Experiment with lifting color before and after blending. Lifting color before blending creates softer, more subtle highlights, while lifting after blending produces more dramatic effects. Practice lifting color on a scrap piece of paper to get a feel for the technique. Remember, timing is key when lifting color. The wetter the paint, the easier it is to lift. However, if the paint is completely dry, you might not be able to lift much color at all. With practice, you'll develop a sense of timing and achieve stunning results. Section 8. Special effects with watercolor pencils. Watercolor pencils offer a world of creative possibilities beyond traditional techniques. Explore these special effects to add unique textures and visual interest to your artwork. The salt technique. Sprinkle salt onto wet watercolor washes for a beautiful starburst effect. The salt absorbs the water, creating intricate patterns as it dries. Experiment with different types of salt such as table salt or Epsom salt for varying results. The plastic wrap technique. Create organic textures by pressing plastic wrap onto wet watercolor washes. The wrinkles and folds in the plastic create unique patterns as the paint dries. This technique works well for backgrounds and abstract art. The splattering technique. Load a toothbrush or a stiff brush with diluted watercolor paint and run your finger across the bristles, flicking the paint onto your paper. This creates a splatter effect, perfect for adding texture to trees, foliage, or abstract art. Section 9. Caring for your watercolor pencils. Proper care ensures your watercolor pencils last longer and perform their best. Here are some tips to keep them in top condition. Sharpening. Watercolor pencils can be sharpened with a regular pencil sharpener. However, for finer points, consider using a handheld sharpener specifically designed for watercolor pencils. These sharpeners often have two holes, one for regular sharpening and one for a finer point. Storage. Store your watercolor pencils horizontally or vertically with the tips pointing up. This prevents the tips from breaking or becoming dull. Avoid exposing your pencils to extreme temperatures or humidity, as this can damage the lead and affect their performance. Cleaning. If your watercolor pencils get dirty, you can clean them with a damp cloth. Gently wipe the pencils from the tip to the end, avoiding applying too much pressure. Allow the pencils to dry completely before sharpening or using them. Section 10. Practice makes progress. Remember, becoming proficient with watercolor pencils, like any art form, requires practice and patience. Don't get discouraged if your first attempts don't meet your expectations. Embrace the learning process and enjoy the journey. Start with simple subjects and gradually challenge yourself with more complex compositions. Practice different techniques, experiment with color combinations, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Each stroke, each blend contributes to your growth as an artist. Find inspiration in nature, everyday objects, or the work of other artists. Participate in online communities, share your artwork, and seek feedback. The more you practice and engage with the watercolor pencil community, the more confident and skilled you'll become. Section 11. Conclusion, your artistic journey begins. Congratulations on taking your first steps into the world of watercolor pencils. You've learned about the materials, mastered basic techniques, and discovered the magic of blending colors. Now it's time to unleash your creativity and embark on your artistic journey. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to use watercolor pencils. Embrace experimentation, explore different styles, and discover what brings you joy. Allow yourself to be playful, make mistakes, and learn from them. The most important thing is to enjoy the process and let your artistic voice shine through. As you continue your watercolor pencil journey, remember these key takeaways. Choose quality materials, practice regularly, experiment fearlessly, and most importantly, have fun. The world is your canvas. Go forth and create. If you enjoyed this guide, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get notified for more videos like this. Happy creating!